estimating time of ignition, so we're inside of 5 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. We are standing by for powered descent initiation. Gary, this is a critical 11-minute burn. For further operations. While we were in that interview, we did hear that the main engine gimbal checkout was completed. So now we're focused on the operations with Nova Control. We're focused on your listening into your wire channel there.
That's right. A lot's happening in Nova Control. We're going to be hearing these status calls periodically as we follow the flight control teams that are monitoring the Nova Sea's descent towards the lunar surface. A lot's happening, Josh. Of course, we have this 11-minute burn. We're focused on the propulsion elements of this PDI. At the same time, the spacecraft is oriented in such a way that it can use a technology called terrain motion navigation to study the environment along the way. What's happening there?
Right, so we looked at navigation whenever we were descending and coming down to the lunar surface. Now, this involves two pieces. You have a camera, and you also have a laser rangefinder. At the top of the show, we started talking about, hey, the laser rangefinder that Intuitive Machines put on Nova Sea, it's not operating. We made the decision for flight controllers to utilize two of the laser beams from NASA's MDL payload, make the software patches required to reassign those lasers into the TRN and HRN cameras in order to give us an opportunity to land on the south pole of the moon today. Gary, is quite the feat and challenge overcome in just about 2 hours, because we elected to delay that orbit and go into another orbit. That's why the show was a little bit later. It appears to be paying out. The last call-outs that we heard, Gary, we're talking about beginning processing optical images, and that was nominal. The last time we heard that was just about 20 minutes ago.
These status checks systems are essential to understanding the performance of the folks you see now on your view. This is Nova Control. They're monitoring every step and all of the from Nova Sea ahead of PDI, which is scheduled just a little bit after 5:11 p.m. Central Time. Exactly what are these folks looking at, Josh?
Well, right now everyone's looking at their assigned screens, and all of them are tailor-made. Generally, there's a few who are looking at the same type of screen, but they're tailor-made for their task. You have Spark looking at electronics, things like how hot are the electronics, payloads, and monitoring different parts and pieces. In this case, 5 minutes left until burn attitude. The vehicle's still getting ready for this PDI ignition, which we expect here in just about 2 minutes, Gary, 2 minutes. So everyone's looking at their screens and doing their respective jobs and reporting up into the mission director, while the activity director is keeping in touch with everybody and making sure we're putting this whole thing together. Press started. There's a call for tank press started. Just a little bit before that, Gary, we did hear that they were working on the cryo fill. So these are all steps that are leading towards PDI, powered descent initiation. We expect that to take about 11 minutes, where we're slowing Nova Sea's velocity approximately 1,800 meters per second, and that's required to get this lunar landing opportunity in just a few minutes.
90 seconds to take. Pressure.
All right, 90 seconds until we begin that propulsive maneuver. Again, power descent initiation is about a 10 or 11-minute burn that will slow the spacecraft's descent. What's going to happen after that 10 minutes, Josh? This is a single continuous burn. After that, we're going to see a lot of events in rapid succession: pitch over, vertical, and terminal descent.
And we just heard another call out from the prop console saying that feed line prep is complete. What that means is Nova Sea's propulsion system, that mixture of liquid methane and liquid oxygen, that feed line is prepped, getting ready to go into an injector to blend those two propellants, the propellant and the oxidizer, and have ignition of PDI. We're tracking that in just under a minute, Gary. Lander is getting into the correct attitude required.
Both sides.
Another call for feed line prep complete for liquid methane and liquid oxygen in preparation for this PDI burn.
15 seconds exec mode.
15 seconds to exec mode. We're tracking a little less than a minute, though, until the time of ignition for powered descent initiation.
Settling. Ignition. Throwing up.
I wish you could see snow.
There we heard main stage ignition. That's coming from our prop console, Rob Orton. GNC call on good control.
Supposed to wait 1.5.
Unless they're delaying in case something bad happens.
It's a great call outs in between our prop console and our flight manager, Scott Tamblin. Calling it as the data is feeding into the lander, which means we are continuing to have good communications. The lander is sending that back to flight controllers in Nova Control. There is something we prepared for, we planned on, is that loss of communications. And that's why we have this good thrust control call from prop, but that's why we have this autonomous lunar lander. You know, we program, we know that, hey, we want to light PDI at this moment. These are the steps you need to get there. But from here, and this is an autonomous lunar lander, and flight controllers are monitoring communications and tracking the progress right along with the public right now thus.
Nova C has the helm. It is in control and is making the decisions necessary to ensure a software heard call-outs about thrust, full thrust right now. There is the ability to throttle that thrust. And you'll see that throughout the descent as the fuel tanks continue to unload and expel that propellant.
We did have a few questions come in about how much gas we're getting to slow down the vehicle. I want to remind folks that this PDI burn goes in just about 90% right on time. So it goes in at 90% in order to, if the lander makes a decision and says, I need to slow down more and make a decision to make a safe landing, it's able to add a little bit more oomph and make that decision a reality rather than just a possibility.
I'm showing at 500 kilometers to target, but my display's on still.
That's a mission director, Tim Crane, calling about 500 kilometers, but stating that his information might be just a bit stale.
What else is going to sign you take?
As part of the reason we're showing this animation, Josh, of course, this is not telemetry driven. We're just showing you exactly what's happening. And as we hear the calls, this information is really audio loops. Not enough bandwidth to do a live stream of this. So we're relying on the data that's being fed from Nova C to Nova Control.
And that data is going into the flight controllers, and what you're seeing on your screen right now is to give you an idea of the vehicle's attitude. Talking about moving to a burn attitude. This is what we expect Nova C is doing right now. It is a simulation on the large systems to give you an idea of what's happening over these critical approximate 10, 11 minutes of PDI powered descent initiation, trying to slow Nova C down, bring that acceleration down to about 1,800 meters per second. And there's some follow-on steps after that, Gary. It involves pitching over the lander using that gimbaled engine. We heard the maneuver to burn attitude, followed by main engine gimbal checkout. So they'll use that gimbal to pitch the lander over and start a vertical descent. This is where we start getting a little tricky as far as there is a final approach. It may add a few seconds, it may add a little bit of time, but we are intended to land around 17:24. It's 5:24 p.m. Central Time, but know that there is some give and take. We're also expecting, plan for, and train for a little bit of loss of communication during this process.
That's right. And that communication is absolutely important. And part of the reason, and we've been stressing this, Josh, is the autonomous operations of Nova C. Part of that is when after it performs that pitch open maneuver.
6 seconds to go, breaking in, control. By the way, see during these processing in flight.
All right, that was the call that we were waiting for. That was our major problem we've been working on in this dynamic situation, is getting those images processed from HRN camera, TRN camera, which in this case, in a dynamic situation, we had to improvise a little bit, reach into those 2 laser beams from NDL, figure out a patch while we were in lunar orbit, just about 2 hours, and it sounds like we are getting good readings from those images. Absolutely remarkable feat. We also happened to get, I think it was 400 seconds remaining. That was coming from Fido and Flight Dynamics. Sean Storr working the console this evening.
There's excellent calls to either hazard relative navigation so you can use after the pitch over maneuver. This allows Nova C to make some decisions, scan the landing site underneath it, and make decisions in an area that calculates just terrain to make sure that it's landing in a safe landing zone.
Right, so we finish up PDI, pitch over, and we have to use that hazard relative navigation, a critical tool in order to land on the moon to make those decisions, right? There's no human eyes, human elements deciding, okay, I see the hazard, I need to steer this way, or maybe press the gas, press the brakes. This all happens autonomously, and this is a huge requirement and a great call out to hear about the HRN camera system and processing the images right now in 5:16 p.m. We expect PDI to go until about 5:21, 5:22.
Getting close.
About 300 seconds to approximate those numbers.
Very precise. Josh, after those final series,
Weight is 177.
following along after those critical maneuvers.
Continuous thrust to 90%.
90% thrust. You hear those call-outs periodically, sort of full thrust 90% is still full up, and good performance on that engine.
That's a great call out. Two things there. Nominal performance on this engine as well as the helium tank. So what we haven't mentioned so far in the show is that the helium tank pressurizes that liquid methane and liquid oxygen tank. But in addition, it's also used for reaction control system. Those are the small spurts that you see at the top of the lander in the animation that control the vehicle's attitude. So for things like landing on the moon, you really want to land at the right attitude. That way your antennas are facing back, direct line of sight to Earth. And you can get that ultimate confirmation once you do suspect that you have landed on the moon.
The antenna alignment is an important element of landing on the moon, Josh. We're expecting the high beam antennas to be pointed towards Earth to confirm, but there may be a delay.
We are expecting some sort of delay. I was talking to the mission directors about how quickly we could receive a positive confirmation after this landing process is through, and there was some dispute over how long. The earliest was just about 15 seconds after we see timing of when the event is supposed to happen. So right now we're tracking about 5:24 p.m. Central Standard Time, so maybe anywhere from 15 seconds after that, maybe a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes while we work to acquire that signal, because as you mentioned, the lander is going to a general area, 9 kilometers altitude call from Tim Crane. The lander is going to a general area that we say this is the general area we want you to fly to. It's using that hazard relative navigation to make better decisions about this is an area with the least amount of slope. This is an area that's free of boulders and other obstacles. So it's making autonomous decisions about where to go.
3 minutes to go.
3 minutes call. And just to wrap that up, when the lander is in motion in this area, it's also very difficult to track. We've been fortunate thus far tracking communication since.
3 minutes, so who knows what's going to happen here.
To wrap that up, Josh, 3 minutes, that brings us to just shy of 5:22 p.m. Central Time. We should hear that the power descent initiation burn is complete. Then again, the next series of maneuvers to get us towards vertical. Pitch over.
And just looking at our notes here, we did go into this burn expecting pitch over at 5:21 and 57 seconds. So good call out on the timing of that maneuver. It's important to remember PDI starts an engine burn that does not stop until landing. So this is a throttleable liquid methane liquid oxygen engine. We lit the engine at PDI, and while we are changing into a pitch over, vertical descent, and terminal descent in that landing, that is a throttle down to the lunar surface. And when we do get out of PDI, if we hear that call of PDI complete, good burn, everything after that is going to happen in very quick succession, Gary. The time it takes to go from pitch over to landing, or what we estimate landing to be, just looking at maybe 90 seconds is what we expected nominally. There is some wiggle room. 3 minutes to touchdown call from the mission director.
For an on-time landing, that sets us a little after 5:23 p.m. Central Time.
Right, our notes going into this burn, 5:23 and 25 seconds.
wonder why they're using Central Time.
The autonomous operations just system to
Everything is
exactly
time
related
up
before
to
the
the
start of
actual
right on track.
Is to navigation measurements.
Excellent call out. That solution the flight controllers are working so hard on to make sure HRN was working, pulling on extra resources that weren't originally planned for from those 2 laser beams from NDL. It appears and sounds like that solution is working, and the people working to patch that software were certainly under pressure. The clock was ticking as we went into that extra lunar orbit. It wasn't a situation where we could just sit in lunar orbit and try to solve our problems indefinitely, and it sounded good so far on the call.
2 minutes remaining to touchdown.
2 minutes to touchdown. That required a patch to be designed on the ground and uplinked to Nova C to confirm that those sensor NASA's
$118 million to have the experiments on board
navigation that call
to patch into the navigation system. Which makes me wonder if they're still going to be able to use their experiments. If not, do they get a refund?
Standing by to see if we can get the altitude reading from FIDO here. That's Flight Dynamics Officer Sean Stewart on blue team.
Confirm that with the potential work gimbal. As I said,
Sounds like we have some data that confirms switch over that starts the HDA process. That's hazard detection avoidance throughout the show. You've heard Mary and I talking about the problem that was attempted to be solved in lunar orbit, making the decision to not only postpone the show
and the indicates altitude 1,000 meters.
1,000 meters call out from NDL.
Uh-oh. Probably
Tell that is confirmed from flight management. This is a system right now. NDL was not intended to be the primary landing system on this. Instead, we're using 2 laser beams from NDL and feeding that into the hazard detection and avoidance system that you see on your screen right now, with the lander making autonomous decisions on where it wants to land. That is generally
Given time.
less than 1 minute remaining for touchdown.
That's the 1 minute for touchdown.
Touchdown. It may take some time to actually confirm the status of the lander.
This process, we do have a deployment of the Eagle Cam attempting to take third-person images of Nova C going down to the lunar surface. We are inside of 1 minute, Gary.
Yes, we're willing to go then.
We're tracking here in the broadcast booth. The clock has reached the expected.
I'm taking a minute for around space. Stand by.
There it is, Mission Director beacon us to we reached the expected time of landing, but now is the process of waiting for comms. We are in standby mode, as you heard it from the Mission Director, Dr. Tim Crane.
Waiting for confirmation of touchdown. That's why everybody's
1 minute has elapsed from the notes that we have, Gary, of that original burn starting at PDI.
So
It's ND asking if we are getting the ground
we're waiting to see if it actually touched out.
stations locked onto Nova C. had to come from ground or comm, and conversation possibly not happening on our public channel that we have access to. We're just standing by to hear that through the channels as we approach almost 2 minutes since we estimated the landing time.
How long
We did get a few call-outs on the side, folks coming into the room saying there was about a 2-minute forgiveness in our timetables.
You're checking our antenna reception.
Checking antenna reception.
This delay is coming from last channel, it's not coming from my internet. I have a 1 terabyte download, so it's definitely not coming from here. So I am uploading and downloading at the same time by going live. I've turned off my lights in preparation for positive touchdown to
We're
celebrate.
standing by, Gary. We're standing by just as we approach 5:26 p.m. Central Standard Time. Given those mission directors' notes of flexibility between what we were tracking, what we were given was just about 5:24.
All stations, this is Andrew. Please look back to your logs and confirm the last information you had. You have determined this is a comm outage.
And that's the mission director here. These are notes here from what we believe. We talked about the comm outage, with the lander making autonomous decisions. This is the process of going through the last bit of data that came into Nova Control and working to verify, okay, this is the last bit of data. Where was this lander possibly going? How do we look for it and establish those communications? Nova C uses 4 antennas placed at the top of the lander that are designed to capture these communications. We did expect this. We talked about it, that this is a communications challenge in and of itself, and right now we're standing by to hear that communications call out.
So within 3 minutes from the time of when the clock reads 0 for Nova C landing on the moon.
Still waiting for confirmation. They said they expected this, but
We just checked with our team here in the broadcast booth, decided to let's stay on this. All the chatter we are not hearing on this public channel, Gary, all things indicate that we're working to solve a possible communications challenge in this moment, so we're going to continue to stand by.
So that's following a big run on 5-1. Let's go for Brian. Yeah, I guess you all the room looking for states, and we're going to go ahead and second ground transmitter on Hilly and do some RF switch. Is that your plan? That's correct. Roger, company.
And that's just what we had in mind, it's scary, is that if we encounter a communications challenge, we mentioned how difficult it is to land on the moon and continually have those communications. What you just heard there is folks talking about using the Hilly Earth Station Limited dish in the UK to do a sweep looking for that signal. We mentioned that autonomous process of the lander reassigning itself somewhere that it believes is safe. Going into it, we heard that the HRN camera was functioning and able to make those decisions after what was a 2-hour orbit of problem solving with Intuitive Machines' TRN and HRN cameras. The laser rangefinders assigned to those are the ones that Intuitive Machines installed inside the navigation pods. These laser rangefinders were activated, we went to NASA and asked to use 2 of the laser beams on the Shindapoli LiDAR. That's right. And spent 2 hours in orbit.
And we're going to confirm our pointing vector with our antenna.
Not sure what that means. Confirming the
We spent about 2 hours in orbit to solve that problem. We got good readings on the way down, and right now we are working to confirm communications on the surface of the moon, roughly around the Malapert A region, that is the South Pole region of the moon.
That's right. What we do know is that our descent initiation, we were following along. We executed the
telescope where they
counting down the clock. Landing time of 5:23 p.m. Central Time. Josh described those processes of working on communications component to confirm data from the lander, pulsing the teams surrounding them to check the status of Nova C and the data that they will receive here in Nova Control to confirm landing. Part of that, Josh has described, is communications for standing by. And at our baseline there for the last part of the flight. Looks like we had excellent pushing our control throughout. It's a little bit of a roll excursion. You could have landed off angle and roll in the final phase. So do you see, we have a excursion.
Well, they're talking about a good landing. They're talking about a better roll followed up, basically.
That's what I have. So German begins at 30 meters. Post HDA. Very good.
This is kind of cool, I would think.
And that's a great conversation confirming.
Let's see, Grant. Now we're good for Flex. Can we get that go?
Yeah, that was good information, the process that we were very familiar with, talking about the attitude of the lander, making sure that those antennas are within direct line of sight with Earth stations, ground stations on Earth, excuse me.
All stations are also upgrading our pointing vector with our dish to make sure you're here. It's going to be on our final landing site.
There's a call searching for that communications back to the ground station. This one particularly is in the UK that's tracking us. And it's important to note, Gary, that we have an entire network dedicated to working these communications problems. It's been active this entire mission. And the largest, most powerful dish of all of them is a 64-meter dish in Australia. That time to search with that opportunity the largest, most powerful dish, 12 to 13 hours after our estimate. This is a process that we could be looking at searching for the landers information for quite some time, but we're going to continue to listen in a standby as our flight controllers are working with the ground station in the United States to work this problem. It's another challenge, very similar to the challenge solved just to get this far.
That's a live. We have a return signal we're tracking.
So they're getting a return signal that they're tracking to make sure. Basically, they're seeing if the lunar module landed in the upright position or if it's followed over because of the last bit of pitch that it had to do. And that's what we're looking at right now.
We have an onboard fault detection system for our communications. And after 15 minutes of lack of communication, we'll power cycle radios. And then after that, for another 15 minutes and we'll then switch antenna pairs. So we have some time here to evaluate. We do have signal here on track. So let's see what happens.
All right.
Autonomous systems installed on our Nova C-class lunar lander named Odysseus. The process he's mentioning, Gary, is very similar to the one that we were preparing ourselves for at AOS. So the lander has systems in place to recycle its antennas, to switch antenna pairs. It was very similar to what we were going to need to do after acquisition of signal. When we separated from the second stage of the launch vehicle, if we made it to a certain point, the lander was autonomously programmed to start taking matters into its own hands, and that was the information that our mission director got about. We're also not dead yet.
Here, Josh, is patience. 5:34 p.m. Mission Director Tim Crane confirmed that it could take 2 phases of 15-minute increments to confirm the status of the land. So we can be here, and we'll stand by and monitor as Nova Control continues to work this issue.
Tense moments inside of Mission Control with the most qualified.
We have a signal from our high gain antenna and a transmitter. It's faint, but it's there. So stand by, folks. See what's happening here.
Sorry, we continue to stand by. Let's keep moving on inside of Nova Control. It sounds like we are getting some kind of signal.
We're sending to reactivate to make sure we're
15 minutes to recycle the radios and prepare the antennas to try to get a better signal back here to Earth.
So we're still standing by. The last call from Mission Director Dr. Tim Crane was that we were getting a faint signal from Odysseus's antenna.
So I guess technically we are on the moon. It's just a matter of what condition are we in on the moon. I mean, if that thing didn't land upright and it rolled for some reason, I guess it would be a successful mission.
Mr. Director on IM1. Evaluating how we can refine that signal and dial in the point for dishes. What we can confirm, without a doubt, is our equipment is on the surface of the moon, and we are transmitting. So congratulations, IM team. We'll see how much more we can get from that.
Okay, so they've confirmed we are on the moon. And they're getting
an excellent call from our mission director, and over to our CEO.
Yeah, if I could just pass on a few words to the entire team and to the machines and Superbad here in the Mission Control. What an outstanding effort. I know this is a nail biter. We are on the surface, and we are transmitting, and welcome to the moon. Odysseus is on his own.
An excellent call, and this is our team of intuitive machines mechanics and their families, their friends, everyone who has said that wants to make it this far. something else, a faint signal. Now it's time to work on refining that signal. But Dr. Tim Crane, our mission director today, making the call. Odysseus has a new home.
It shows the disciplines of the flight controllers in Nova Control. They waited until there was absolute confirmation that there was a signal, and then that was when they took the moment to celebrate. We saw that it wasn't just the individuals in Nova Control that contributed to the mission. The contributions to enable the success of Nova C's landing on the moon stretches far and wide. We showed, of course, some of the folks watching there, but really it extends even farther than this. A wonderful and truly amazing moment to celebrate. The U.S. has landed on the moon once again.
And to everyone, you mentioned it goes beyond just the folks that we saw on camera waiting and working through those tense moments, but their friends, their families, and everything it took to get to this point. We're still expecting an image. We expect that to come down sometime in the future, especially as we look towards some high-resolution images. Let's go ahead and it sounds like we do have a message we'd like to cut to. Can we have that message special for our folks, our employees, and folks watching at home?
Hey, that's right. With Nova C landing at Malapert A, congratulations, like you said, Josh, are flooding into the teams that made this happen. Really sets a tone for the American leadership and the future of a strong lunar economy. So here's NASA Administrator Bill Nelson.
On the 8th day of a 250,000-mile voyage, a voyage along the Great Cosmic Bridge from the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center to the target of the south pole of the moon, a commercial lander named Odysseus, powered by a company called Intuitive Machines, launched upon a SpaceX rocket carrying a bounty of NASA scientific instruments and bearing the dream of a new adventure in science, innovation, and American leadership in space. Well, all of that aced the landing of a lifetime. Today, for the first time in more than a half century, the U.S. has returned to the moon. Today, for the first time in the history of humanity, a commercial company, an American company, launched and led the voyage up there. And today is a day that shows the power and promise of NASA's commercial partnerships. Congratulations to everyone involved in this great and daring quest at Intuitive Machines, SpaceX, and right here at NASA. What a triumph. Odysseus has taken the moon. This feat is a giant leap forward for all of humanity. Stay tuned.
All right, thank you, Administrator Nelson. And again, Nova C and the United States has landed on the moon at 5:23 p.m. Central Time today, February 22nd, 2024. Congratulations to Intuitive Machines on the successful landing. Science and data gathering is already underway and will continue for roughly 7 days on the lunar surface, activating payloads and gathering important scientific data to help it for future successes in Artemis missions. For more about NASA's CLIPS initiative, visit nasa.gov/clips.
Gary, it's been quite a journey for all of us at Intuitive Machines. Thanks to NASA for the continued support to enable today's successful landing, and of course, everyone at Intuitive.
On the moon, it's time for a light show.
Machines, their friends and family who made all of this possible. That will wrap up our coverage of Intuitive Machines' IM mission. Thanks for joining us.